Sharing is Caring by Itslivybear, Chapter 14. It's the Spider-Man meme. Todoroki had forced his phone number on Izuku before they left the hospital, and Izuku was mildly regretting that now. Todoroki had sent him an address and a time. What? It was the weekend with a few weeks of studying for finals ahead of them, and apparently Todoroki was inviting him out for something or another. Izuku sent back a question mark. 3. It was 3. But Todoroki just told him to be there. Izuku felt like he was reasonably afraid of the whole thing, but showed up 15 minutes early anyway. It was a public park. That helped not at all. Midoriya. He whirled around to see Todoroki dressed in a beanie, jeans, and a t-shirt. He had sunglasses hanging on his shirt collar and looked mildly surprised. "You're early. Did I give the wrong time?" "Shoto!" Immediately, he rolled his eyes as a tall boy came sprinting over, Buzz's head glinting slightly in the sun, and Todoroki just sighed. "Inasa?" The boy came to a stop, not even winded, and grinned massively. "Hello! You are early?" It's generally considered good form to try and arrive before invited guests, but I seem to have failed. Izuku let out a quiet eep as the large boy turned to face him, extending a hand. "Hello, I'm Yaroshi Inasa. Nice to meet you." Midoriya Izuku." "Ah, Shoto has already told me of your situation. I'm glad you could join us today." "Inasa, you better not be picking on the new kid." He turned slightly to yell back, "Suki, come greet Midoriya." A brown-haired girl, with it pulled back into a half-up, half-down, bounded over and gave both boys a fist bump before turning to him. "Hi there, Midoriya, right? Sensu Suki, but please, just call me Suki. Hope the boys weren't bothering you too much. Anyone see my girlfriend yet?" Todoroki shook his head. "She's never been early to anything in her life. Why would she start now?" Suki snorted. "Plus, I have no doubt her parents are holding her up, making sure she has everything and is perfectly safe. Her mother delaying her arrival and making snide comments, the usual." "Oh my God, babe, so true. You would not believe how long the bat talked. Even made me take Rin." "Sushi!" Suki laughed and spun around, picking up the shorter girl and spinning her around. Todoroki nodded to both newcomers. "Hello, Rin." "Shoto!" They nodded generally and greeted Yayarashi and Suki as well. They turned to Izuku and smiled. "Ozani, Rin, and my sister Sushi. Nice to meet you." "Midoriya, Izuku. You as well?" He managed not to stutter this time, so that was good. "Rin!" A blur of black tackled the black-haired person, but they managed to stay upright, having tensed at the right moment. Todoroki raised an eyebrow. "Kagami? Momo?" Izuku jerked his head up to see Yayarozu and Jiro walked up as well. He and Jiro both stopped and stared at each other for a moment as everyone greeted the new additions. The punk girl slid up to him. "So," she muttered out of the corner of her mouth, "why are you here?" "Todoroki invited me. You?" "Momo's, well, I guess everyone will find out eventually. Soulmates, getting to know each other more. You know how it is." Rin drew their attention with a sheepish smile. "Sorry for not warning you all. I know this was originally supposed to be a 5-person party, but Mom was going to make me come along, and I didn't want to infringe, so I invited my own friends. Jiro is a newer addition, but she's nice, I can assure you." Todoroki nodded. "She is also in our class." For Rin and Kagami, this is Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya, this is Ozani, Rin, and Hibaki Kagami, soulmates and friends of Momo." Momo smiled. "Indeed, I've known them both for a few years now. Now, what is our plan for the next few hours?" Yarashi immediately straightened. "An activity with which to show our passion." Sushi snorted, short black hair bobbing a little under the green headband. What, you want to fight, Twinkle Toes? You think you've gotten better since the last time? We cannot fight in a public area. Quirk use is illegal. She rolled her milky eyes. Who said anything about quirks? I can beat your ass without one. Tremor sense counts as a quirk. Oh, it sure does, but I have a license since without it I wouldn't be able to see. Unless you think you can't beat a little girl. There's nothing inferior about woman. Furthermore, if I can't get off the ground, you have an unfair advantage. Suki sighed and wrapped an arm around her girlfriend. Toffee, what did we say about the Earth versus Sky contests? To only have them on private ground, or not to get caught by the cops? Okay, the first part was right, but the second part, Todoroki nodded, is also a good plan. Good thinking, Sushi. Sure thing, Ice Prince. Someone has to have the brains in this friendship, and we know it's not Twinkle Toes. I find that offensive, but do not dispute you are higher than me in class rankings. Regardless, Yaya Rosa drew the conversation back around. We still don't have an activity plan besides talking in the park. If that is all what we want to do, Izuku felt his stomach rumble and immediately flushed, knowing the sound had carried. There was a pause, then Todoroki raised a hand, a plastic card held between two fingers. How about lunch on Endeavor? Izuku found himself sitting between Kagami and Jiro at an honest-to-God restaurant. Apparently, Endeavor paying meant they couldn't get cheap fast food. They had to buy actual food. Eating lunch. Past Kagami was Rin, sat next to their sister, who was next to Inessa. They all insisted on being called by their first names to distance themselves from their families or solidarity, depending. Who was next to Shoto? Since they were fake dating, rounding out with Suki, then Momo on the other side of Jiro, or rather Kyoka. Yeah, he wasn't getting used to this anytime soon. But luckily, he didn't talk much anyway. Apparently, Sushi, with her earth manipulation quirk, was constantly challenging Insa and his wind manipulation quirk to fights and competitions to prove land superiority over air. It was, according to Kagami, an ongoing battle that was evenly matched since they would alternate who picked challenges. Sometimes they were straight-up fights, but both were training to be heroes anyway. In the same school, no less, so they had plenty of time to see each other. Suki and Shoto got along rather well, while their dates, fake or otherwise, talked loudly and boisterously. Momo sometimes spoke in conversation as well, often to Suki about combat techniques, which left Izuku to talk to Kyoka and Kagami. Hibaki? She giggled. Kagami, please. Hibaki is my mother. He furrowed his brow. Wasn't the phrase my father? She seemed to notice his confusion because she just smiled wearily. My mother is the more famous of the two, not by much, since she's an underground hero, but the bat hero, Echo, is still much more known than the businessman manager Hibaki. Izuku's eyes grew around. Echo. She could pick up sounds over great distances, fly really fast, and she was really quiet. He had no idea she had a family. Kagami hummed lightly. That's where I get my ears from. I've gotten pretty good at hiding them under my hair in public so no one can make the connection, but I have really good hearing, just like my mom. Izuku blinked and couldn't help but look at the girl's hair, seeing that yes, the brown hid brown furry ears as well, expertly blending in. If he didn't know to look, he wouldn't have found them. Kagami giggled suddenly. Kyoka, did you know she meant me thinking I might be her soulmate? The girl startled. Oh, no. I don't think she told me that story. Momo sighed. It's true. I didn't have much to go off of, so got to know her on the off chance. Even if we're just friends, I'm completely satisfied. She grinned slyly. Rin is very lucky person to have a soulmate as someone like her. Kagami squeaked and hunched lightly, red dusting her cheeks, and Rin grinned laughter like bells. True enough, they hummed. I am very lucky to find one soulmate is hard, but it's worth it. The universe or whatever caused this knows what it's doing, and having an assigned friend is a gift. Of course, you still have to put the work into any relationship to make it work, but if you put in the time and effort, it's worth it. Izuku eternally paused, stuttering for a moment. Was it worth it, even for someone like him? He was still thinking about the question when Class 1A piled onto the bus for the final exams. Hi, it's me again. First off, sorry for the late upload, and second off, the second part for this should be uploaded soon. Well, chapter 15. And thank you so much for the support. You know who you are. Thank you. It really means a lot. Anyway, eat some food and drink some water. Good gosh, people. Stay hydrated and eat food. Stay healthy. And don't die, it's bad for your health.